Okay, Chapter 12, Section 2. We're also going to knock out Section 3 at the same time. Okay, monetary policy. Remember, that's adjusting the amount of money in circulation in our system. Okay, so there's three ways in which our government can affect or change the money supply. Okay, so number one, they can raise or lower the reserve requirement. Looking back at the last section, the reserve requirement is how much banks must keep in their vault. When people deposit money in the bank, they only have to keep a certain amount on hand. That's to cover short-term bills and things like that. Cash withdrawals, all that stuff. And so a lower reserve requirement equals higher money supply. Okay? A higher reserve requirement decreases it. Okay? Because if there's a lower reserve requirement, then banks are allowed to loan out more money. Okay? Another thing the Federal Reserve can do is they can buy or sell U.S. securities. And this is the way in which our government essentially gives money to itself. This is one way to dump new money into the system. Okay, so there's no cash involved. It's just created money, and you just got to understand most of the money in circulation is electronic nowadays. Very little of it is actually cash, printed cash, hard currency. Okay, so buying securities, T bonds, T bills, all that stuff, increases the money supply. Selling T bills, right, decreases it. So the Fed holds T bills, and you just got to understand a lot of our money is paid to ourselves. When we borrow money, we borrow it from ourselves through this created money. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's a way for our government to put more cash into the system. Another thing our Federal Reserve can do is they can raise or lower the discount rate. Okay, and that is how much our government um, charges the banks for a short-term loan. A lot of this is overnight, quick loans. Sometimes there's transactions, and they all happen very quickly, where the banks just need to borrow from the government quickly, and by lowering the rate, they make it less expensive for banks to borrow money. That makes it easier or less expensive for them to loan out money to you or to us when we want to borrow money. So raising the rate lowers the money supply. Lowering the rate, lowering the rate. I'm sorry, raising the rate lowers the money supply. Lowering it raises the money supply. And you just got to understand, okay, the idea, you just got to, is this putting more money into the system or less? And that's always the critical thing we're talking about. Okay, so when banks are charged less money, then they pass that along to lower rates to people who are borrowing money, such as money for cars. So an auto loan rate, we can see this at an APR is annual percentage rate. Okay, and this a lot of times the rate we pay for loans is based upon a couple of things: how much did it cost the bank to get their money, also how much it might cost for them to borrow from the government, but also your own credit rating is going to determine your percentage rate. Okay, so lower discount rate allows banks to charge lower loan interest rates. Okay, so it flows downhill as the government gives cheap money to banks. Banks give cheap money to customers. If the government if the government raises it, then consumers at the end of the sort of equation, they also will pay higher rates for their loans. So you'll hear the phrase "easy money, tight money," and these are policies, and depending on the situation, for the most part, the government will try to let the economy go on its own, but occasionally they'll try to steer the economy. And you need to understand the U.S. economy is gigantic. And so, in order to move it, big changes must happen. So, um, an easy money policy just means more money. Okay, so utilizing the three ways: raise or lower reserve requirement, buy or sell securities, or raise or lower discount rate. Okay, so those three ways they can put more money into the system. And when they do that, when more money's in the system, immediately people buy more. Okay, so because money's cheaper, loans are cheaper, you see an immediate burst. Banks loan out more, businesses hire more people, and it is a way to quickly add more money to the system and get the economy working better. To utilize like a mechanical concept, you're priming the pump. You're adding a higher level of fuel to the mixture so that it fires better. Okay, a tight money policy is the opposite. It's things the government can do to take money out of the system. And so when that happens, people borrow less money. And you have to understand a company, if it's looking to expand, build a new factory, open a new store, new restaurant, whatever, it's going to often borrow money to do that. So when rates go up, we're going to see less of those things. And when there's less money in the system flowing in the system, people don't buy as much. Okay, and then that slows or restricts economic growth. So people say, well, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever restrict the money supply? Just keep putting more money, keep printing more money. Well, there's short-term and long-term effects to that. Okay, so um, the short run, in the short run, when you put more money in the system, you get that burst, that initial burst where things get better and people are buying more stuff, companies hire. But in the long run, prices start to go up because there's more money in the system. People start to bid prices higher for the things they want. Then that's called inflation. So more money increases the price of goods and leads to inflation. Now, the Fed believes that controlling inflation is the most important goal. So in the long run, what you want is low growth, not high growth. We want low growth where things, particularly in inflation, where prices are slowly rising over time. You don't want deflation. That's sometimes one of the worst things that can happen is the economy is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so it's a difficult balance that our government is doing right now. Our government is following an easy money policy, and a lot of people are concerned that this is going to lead to runaway inflation here quickly. And so our government is looking at ways in which to maybe reduce the amount of money flowing into this system. The prime rate is the best way to think about this is for a large corporation that has access to and have a really good credit rating, they're going to get the lowest interest rates from banks. So the bank gets its money from the government sometimes when it borrows money, and then they'll add a little bit to that discount rate to get the prime rate. And the prime rate is often where a lot of rates are based upon. So if your credit rating is lower, you'll often pay far more interest than the prime rate. And that is chapter 12.